Enter Star, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Harris, and I am bringing you an epic PVZ today. I know, PVZ once again, but ultimately, this is frigging awesome, and you do not want to miss it. This is going to be a game on Tal'Darim Altar between WhiteRa, aka WhiteRa, and Smung. This was basically played on WhiteRa's stream last night, and he is an amazing, such an absolute gent. He was playing ladder all night, and he was using special tactics in order to be able to please the crowd. He had like 5,000 viewers, and I've just realised I need to put myself on busy before anybody whispers me. So, yes, we do have Smung here, spawning as the blue Zerg in the bottom left, whilst WhiteRa is going to be spawning as the red Protoss in the bottom right corner. So, a bit of backstory to this game. The Duckload, as WhiteRa was laddering for quite a while last night on his stream, as I said before, and he actually played Smung 3 times, I think, in the entirety of the night, and he won the first 2 games, so this was Smung's chance of redemption. So do bear in mind that Smung at this point has already been beaten by WhiteRa twice before this game actually occurred. And whilst he is going to be taking that expansion, he's going to be taking the 15 hatch, which is very normal for this map, and WhiteRa has already placed that pylon down and is throwing a forge down, so he's going to be taking a quick expansion as well. So, yes, sorry, bear in mind that Smung has already been beaten twice, and also WhiteRa, whilst actually playing these games, was casting them as well at the same time. He was actually speaking about this, he was talking about this game in Russian. He was alternating between Russian and English for games to please the fans in general, which is very cool of him. And as you can see, he is going to be trying to cannon rush the back of this base. He's sending in this probe to make it look like he is scouting, but this pylon has been seen, and WhiteRa isn't going to have too much success here, as this will be ended by a few drones here, and at this point, unless WhiteRa can build up a very substantial foothold here, he's not going to be able to actually get this off in time, so we'll have to see how this goes. He's throwing down 2 cannons, one here and one somewhere else in the middle of those. So actually, he probably will get that cannon up, and this may be forced to cancel. So will he cancel it? Because this cannon, yeah, he does indeed cancel Smung. Good play there, and is going to be throwing down that spawning pool. So at this point, WhiteRa's got a pretty commanding position. He doesn't have any gateways going up as of yet, as he did invest quite a bit into getting that hatchery cancelled. And I'm actually quite surprised that he hasn't cancelled 2 of those photon cannons, but not to worry at all. So Smung's spawning pool has almost finished, and oh my god, proxy hatcheries. This is gonna get crazy, ladies and gents. So Smung is gonna be throwing up this proxy hatchery, and at this point WhiteRa has no clue that this is here, and is just gonna be playing very standard at this point, throwing down his nexus. We do have a few zerglings coming out as well as a queen for Smung, and overlords just spreading out to the best of their ability. So this proxy hatchery is halfway done, and at this point all these zerglings are going to be running by here trying to get past these cannons, and wow, a little bit of lag there, but these zerglings no doubt are going to be coming here to reinforce what this proxy hatchery is currently doing. We do have a cannon and a gateway going up in the front of WhiteRa's base, so he's going to be in a good position when it comes to actually walling this off. But the big question is, what is this proxy hatchery going to do? So we shall have to see. Metabolic boost on the way, and WhiteRa feels pretty secure here, pretty walled off, but again, he still doesn't know about this. Coming to WhiteRa's cam, he doesn't have a clue that this is here, ladies and gents, so we shall have to see what happens. These zerglings trying to get past here, but are going to be fended off by this lone cannon, and in fact cancelling that pylon, which is quite surprising. I would have thought he would have kept that up for quite a while, but at the same time, this proxy hatchery is finished, and we do have a baneling's nest on the way as well. So Smung here really going to be putting on some pressure very soon. Nexus is just finished, Cybernetics core is on the way, and WhiteRa going to be sneaking this probe past to do a little bit of scouting. and he really needs the Zealot there in order to be able to block that off. He's going to be doing a bit of a big transfer there. We do have 2 Spine Crawlers on the way, one in the base, and oh my god, he's seen the creep, and he's coming here, and he realizes that a Proxy Hatchery is in his base, building a base in your base, and a Spine Crawler is now almost finished. So this is going to be bad news bears if WhiteRa isn't able to do anything about this. He's going to be focusing down this Spine Crawler, but a Queen has popped out, and oh my god, lots of Zerglings going to be having a lot of work done to the probes here, and this is getting a bit crazy, ladies and gents. Bases in your bases is extremely cool when it comes to Zergies. So now we do have these 2 Zealots going to be walking across the field here. We do have Warp Gate research being done, as well as 2 Banelings being morphed in. So these Zealots are going to be able to actually take out one of these Banelings. Maybe the second Baneling, no, it is cancelled and he does run away. And now these Zealots are going to be in a bit of a bad spot, injecting on this spawn, on this hatchery here. And WhiteRa in a really weird position. What do you do against this? Seriously, so... Again, this was on ladder, so it is a legit game. Spinecrawler in Smung's base in order to be able to protect him ever so slightly. A lot of Zealots now running back to the main and pushing up here with this Spinecrawler, and a few Banelings here are going to be able to do a lot of damage if they actually do get in. Cannon going up here now, so really nice kind of reactionary play here from WhiteRa. But oh, the cannon goes down from all those Banelings, and now all these Zerglings are going to be able to kill off quite a few probes. An extra cannon is going to be going up, but at the same time, in the front of the base there are a lot of Zerglings and Banelings running past that cannon, and oh my god, WhiteRa here losing a lot of drones and a lot of economy in general. Oh my god, these Banelings are going to be killing the cannon and the Zealots. But now these 2 Stalkers here are going to have to be the heroes of the day. They're going to really need to kite these Zerglings forever. Nice positioning on those Stalkers. See how he was able to not get them surrounded and just pin them in that little hole there. So now running back to the aid of this cannon, and more Zealots are going to be coming out very soon. But at the same time, more Banelings are morphing in. And just coming to the income tab here, we do see, though, that at the same time, a lot of income has been halted here for WhiteRa. So he's going to be in a bit of a bad spot. Once this base goes down, oh my god, it's going to go, even throwing a Baneling onto that Nexus. But all these Zerglings just being rallied through past that cannon and going to be taking out that Nexus pretty well. So now Spine Crawlers still going up in your base for WhiteRa, and even spreading the creep into the main of WhiteRa now, Smung. So really nice tactic here from Smung, and WhiteRa in a bit of a bad spot. What's he going to do? He really doesn't have that much drone saturation. Let's go to the units lost tab. No, what is it? Oh my god. There it is, units killed. There we go. Units killed. We can see that 21 workers have been killed by Smung here, but he's trying to push in here. Not too bad a force field, but ultimately these Banelings are going to be able to cause a lot of damage, and the Zerglings are also causing immense damage. But now they are locked in by these force fields and are all going to be taken out pretty well. And WhiteRa here in a really bad spot. He is being Spinecrawler pushed from his main, and Smung even expanding to the closer base of WhiteRa in order to be able to, I don't know, just kind of like support this base quickly. Like, say if he wants to pump in more Zerglings from this location, it's a lot less of a route to actually travel. And now these Spinecrawlers are going to be trying to burrow in here, but the Stalkers are going to be able to get a few pot shots off them, and they are burrowed in. So now WhiteRa's going to have to move back. He's really in a position here where he could lose this Cybernetics core, and it is being poked away at now. He's throwing up a second assimilator, and a layer now morphing in actually for Smung. So he's in a pretty commanding position, especially since he has an hatchery going up to be able to do a little bit more mining. And this Spinecrawler, though, a good little micro from these units here, and he's going to be able to take out this Spinecrawler pretty soon. These other Spinecrawlers are just not going to be in position quick enough in order to be able to help. But at the same time, wow, really nice play there by Smung. Going to be bringing back that weak Spinecrawler, but he's going to lose this Spinecrawler as well, and these Stalkers are really causing Smung a lot of problems at this point. So let's not forget, ladies and gents, that there are still these cannons up here, and WhiteRa, if he chose to, could warp in a few units there, but he is still just being so pressured. So even creep now going into his natural, and still getting a lot of poking action on the Cybernetics core, but these Stalkers are doing a great deal of damage to these Spinecrawlers, and just going to be microing back the weak ones. Just really good use of micro here by WhiteRa even, and just making sure that the shields do deplete, and then moving them back in order to be able to give them such longevity in this game. And a lot of Zerglings now in production here for Smung. He is going to be transferring a lot of drones to this natural... Well, I was going to say natural, but it's really not a natural. And lots and lots more drones going over there. He does have a few drones and some Zerglings over here. But WhiteRa just pinned in this base right now, and he's trying to get an economy up. And nice surround there, though, by those Zerglings. And they're going to be able to do a lot of damage to these Stalkers. All the Stalkers go down. And now these Zerglings are going to be retreating, whopping in a few more Stalkers here. And this Spinecrawler is so close to death. He really wants to pick that off, and he is going to pick it off as there are not enough Zerglings there to actually cause any harm. And now we're going to be pushing in. This is a bold move here by WhiteRa. Going to be able to maybe take out that Overlord, but doesn't. And now we're just going to be microing back in order to kill off those Zerglings. And this Queen is going to go down. Oh my god. We do have a few more Zerglings morphing in here. And a Spire going up, ladies and gentlemen, for Smung. But all these Zerglings could get a good surround. Oh, almost get a good surround. But not going to be able to pick off any of these Stalkers, as there are just too many Stalkers here for such small units of Zerglingness. So now he's actually going to be able to pick off this hatchery by the looks of things, but he is going to be coming down here and picking off these Spinecrawlers, which is a good move. He really wants to be able to limit the defenses of Smung at this point, and he's going to be picking off this hatchery pretty soon. It did have a last inject going down there, and he is going to be rallying even more Zerglings from this hatchery and throwing down more Spinecrawlers in order to be able to try and just poke away at these units. But he's not going to be able to do too well, as there's just nothing he can do at this point. He does have a few Mutalisks coming out, as well as weapons level 1 for range, for the excuse me, for flyers, and he has his sentries and stalkers now moving around to this base. But I'm not so sure that this is going to be able to do that much. A lot of these Zerglings did pop out here, and are going to be able to... Oh my god, this is on 5 HP! Oh my god, he saves this hatchery with 5 HP. That is ridiculous! And now it just needs one more shot on this in order to be able to kill it off, and he would be very wise to kill that off, as it is just so low. Guardian Shield now going up against all these units, and actually those sentries doing a surprising amount there, and actually killing that base off there and running away from these Broodlings, as Broodlings do a surprising amount of damage. So he's going to be in a good spot here. He is retaking his main, and does Smung actually see this? He doesn't see it. He did see a probe go over there probably, but he doesn't see that the main is actually going up. So interesting game here, to say the least. I'm really still wanting to see WhiteRa actually warp in here, because this is a really well defended area for WhiteRa at this point. There are going to be a few Mutas coming in here, going to be trying to pick off as much as possible. Photon Cannon as well as another gateway are going down in the back of this base, and but these Mutas are going to cause a lot of problems for WhiteRa going into this game. He is going to be trying to throw down that Photon Cannon again, and Smung is just going to be trying to deny that Photon Cannon for as long as possible, and indeed he does, but these Stalkers do chase them away as this gateway does finish. So WhiteRa probably going to be wanting to just establish his economy in his main, and I don't know, at this point Smung's choice to actually expand here may not be a good one, as that hatchery can be picked off quite easily using this cliff, or can be halted mining wise due to that cliff, and now he is throwing down a lot of Spinecrawlers in that base, so he's going to be able to defend it for quite a while. We do have Twilight Council on the way for WhiteRa, and that's a really good choice in this position, because Stalkers with Blink going into the later stages of this game can really save him. Smung is looking like he's going to be gearing up to take this base, and he does have a lot of Zerglings and Mutas out, as well as an Evo chamber, so ultimately these Stalkers are going to be able to... Oh, they're going to be coming in here and picking off a Spinecrawler. That's really good, and picking off an Overlord as well as just halting all kind of mining from this extractor here. So he's in a good spot. I don't know, I think WhiteRa's really kind of pulled himself back into this through sheer micro. The micro of the Stalkers early on in this game was just perfect in order to be able to deal with this hatchery. If he'd have just barreled in there willy-nilly and just done whatever, then he would have been in a really bad position, because the Stalkers would have just gone down so easily to the Zerglings and Spinecrawlers. So Smung, at this point, he's just kind of establishing economy on 2 base. He is getting a 3rd hatchery now, but ultimately I really think that during the entirety of all those attacks that he was doing on this natural, he really should have just expanded everywhere. I'm not 100% sure if he would have had the money to be able to do that, but if he'd have just expanded to so many locations, he would have been able to establish such an amazing economy. And now all the Mutas are going to be coming in here and destroying this foothold of WhiteRa's. And indeed that does go down, and I wouldn't be surprised if Smung does take that base pretty soon, because it's quite easy to defend and very near to his natural. He's going to be throwing down a lot of creep tumors here, and Blink has just complete, or is just completing, and we do have +1 weapons on the way for the WhiteRa as well, and the Mutas coming in here once again, picking off that photon cannon, but blinking in there, going to be denying any more harass from those Mutalisks. And at this point, I really would like to see WhiteRa actually get defense upgrades for these units, since defense just does so much against the Mutalisks because of the bouncing. So I wouldn't mind seeing that happening, but ultimately, hey, crisis management is what's going on here. Blinking one of these Stalkers down in order to just deny the use of these 3 patches here, and just pushing forward even a little more. And the Mutas are going to be coming over here to try and deny this, but ultimately there are so many Stalkers here that he can use to actually blink in and take these out. He's going to be pushing up with a few Spine Crawlers in order to be able to get them into a more defensive position, and they will get into a more defensive position, but ultimately there are so many Stalkers here, but at the same time using this as a slight distraction maybe in order to be able to make a frontal assault with these Mutalisks and Zerglings, and morphing into some Banelings. This could be bad for WhiteRa if he gets a good hit off on that wall. But at the same time, they did take out that Spine Crawler and just move back from that Spine Crawler there in order to be able to keep harassing this hatchery. So really great play here from WhiteRa. We do have a Robo Bay going down now, Robo Facility going down for WhiteRa, but at the same time there's going to be a frontal assault here. He's going to be targeting that Forge, and the Forge does go down from those Banelings, and then now moving in with all these Zerglings and these Mutalisks, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage. But there are so many Stalkers here in great position in order to be able to deal with this, and he's forced to retreat Smung at this point. A lot of Zerglings now in production for Smung. He really feels the pressure here as that hatchery does go down. And now these Mutalisks just looking for some kind of opening as to whether they can get in anywhere. And actually Psylocked here, WhiteRa at this point. But look at the supply counts up in the top corner. 108 to 87. WhiteRa has really pulled himself back into this game. But at the same time, Smung is going to be taking an expansion up in the north position. And if that does get up, he's going to be in a good position going into the late stages of this game. Now throwing down weirdly placed Spine Crawlers. Where are all these coming from, drones? Where are you drones coming?